Imagine deliberately causing that. A train wreck. The willful wrecking or derailment of a train, resulting in property damage, death, or grievous bodily harm. On the Commonwealth of the Indigo Island of the Kingdom of the Pogo Islands, my country, that is going to be punished as one of the most grievous crimes humanly possible. What's up, everybody? It's Zach the Celtics guy here, back with another video. Legal lesson 23, and second legal lesson of the day, second video of the day. So, that sound effect that I used, credit to the sound effect database. Let's go to him for that sound effect, train crash sound effect. The wrecking of a train. Let's discuss that as a law. Yes, that is actually a law. That is a law that is with regards to the obstruction of railways under the Old English Common Law, which can be found in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. That can actually be found under Section 62 of the Guyana Criminal Offenses Act of 1998. Which is inherited from the Old English Common Law of obstructing railroads or intentionally obstructing online, like the line of a train, rail car, you name it. On the Commonwealth of the Indigo Island, all of which the Pogo Islands inherits most, if not all, of its criminal laws. On the Commonwealth of the Indigo Island, train wrecking, the intentional wreckage or derailment of a train, is punished as an extremely serious crime, and it is only punished by a mandatory life sentence in the island's prison. Now, why is that? Well, it gets worse than that. The reason is because, let's think about it for a second. The intentional wrecking of a train is it is an act of terrorism. It is an act of terrorism involving the roadways. Just like the intentional obstruction of a maritime, which is a ship, a vessel, or the intentional obstruction of a bus terminal resulting in a devastating bus crash resulting in death, that would be considered premeditated murder. That's just mass murder. That's just terroristic murder at that point. But that will be a topic for another day, for another video at some point. So with regards to the willful wrecking of a train, which was inherited from the Old English Common Law, there are two laws with regards to that. Well, actually, there's multiple ones on the Indigo Island. Title 7 of the Indigo Island Codification of Statutes, Criminal Code. Chapter XXVI, Offenses Against the Railway. Section 254, Obstruction of Railway with intent to endanger any passenger or others nearby or within, shall be guilty of a felony and liable to imprisonment for life. The derailment or wrecking any railroad with unlawful or malicious purpose or intent, with a heinous disregard for the safety of other human beings and innocent human life, derails or wrecks any railroad for any unlawful or malicious purpose for which any railroad traffic, including any rail car, train, or other railway vehicle or train passes upon, or damages, destroys, or otherwise blows up or causes to explode or sets fire to any railroad for any unlawful or malicious purpose, causes any wreckage or causes any hazard for which there is a grave danger of wreckage or explosion to such railroad, or causes miscommunication for which any moving railway vehicle or train meets another railway vehicle or train or other object or property for which has the capacity to result in or has resulted in disaster to such railroad, railway cars, vehicles, trains, or other property, commits a felony and shall be punished with death or imprisonment in the island prison for life without parole. Which is basically an act of terrorism, and that's the reason it would be punished with death or life without parole. I don't even care. I don't care if someone died. I don't care if someone was injured. I don't care what the circumstances is. It's going to be the most dangerous, heinous, and just downright wantonly horrific property damage, devastation, you name it. This is the type of crime where it doesn't matter if someone died, because it should be punished by death regardless. A person convicted of a of the intentional wrecking of a train, which is literally terrorism involving railroads, should be punished by death, or should be punished at the bare minimum, life in prison with no possibility of parole. And now we get to the next one, which is even worse. Section 256, Chapter XXVI, Title 7, Indigo Island Codification of Statutes. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously, as to any railway, and with flagrant and heinous disregard for the safety of other human beings and innocent human life, derails or wrecks any railway, vehicle, car, or train with intent to endanger any passenger or others nearby or within such railroad, within any railroad traffic, including any railway car, tram, or other railway vehicle or train, passes upon or damages or destroys or otherwise blows up or causes to explode or sets fire to any rail car, tram, or other railway vehicle or train for any unlawful or malicious purpose, or causes any wreckage, fire, or explosion, or causes any other hazard for which there is a grave danger of wreckage or explosion to such rail, car, tram, or train, or causes any miscommunication for which any moving railway vehicle or train meets another railway vehicle or train or other object or property for which has the capacity to result in or has resulted in a wreckage involving a train with another train or with other property for which such train or trains jumps off a track in a derailment, or when a boil or explosion involving the catastrophic failure involving a boiler within any railway car, tram, or other railway vehicle or train has resulted in, thus causing wreckage to or blows up or causes fire to any train or trains, and thus disaster to such road, railway cars, vehicles, trains, or other property, commits a felony and shall be punished with death under any circumstances for which such offense has resulted in death, and such punishment of death for the fatal wrecking of a train under this paragraph of this section, subparagraph A of paragraph 1, is mandatory. No sentence of death imposed under the section can be reduced, suspended, overturned, withheld, or deferred, nor shall imposition be executed by the court under this sub-paragraph of this section. Or death or imprisonment in the island prison for life without parole under any circumstances for which such offense has resulted in bodily harm, including grievous bodily harm. Or a mandatory sentence of imprisonment in the island prison for life without parole when there is no death or no bodily harm. So therefore, if you commit the fatal wrecking of a train and you cause the death of any person, even one person, the death penalty shall be mandatory, because you took a life, therefore you should as well. And this is like taking the life of a person in the most heinous way possible. This is premeditated murder. This is literally premeditated terroristic murder involving the wrecking of a train. This is literally murder. This is premeditated mass murder. I mean, mass murder can involve 4 or more people, but it would be rare for a train wreck to only result in the death of one person, or even the grievous bodily injury of more than one person. It wouldn't result in more than just one. It would result in multiple people. It would result in mass catastrophe and just the most horrific, wantonly horrible destruction you could ever imagine. So as a result, even in the best case scenario where there is no death or bodily harm, it is a mandatory sentence of imprisonment in the Indigo Island prison for life without parole. If anyone is injured, it should be life with no parole or the death sentence. And then if anyone dies from the train wreck, then it should be the death penalty, mandatory. I believe in the mandatory death penalty for murder. If you commit murder, you should be put to death. You should never see the light of day again, especially if you're a terrorist. You are a terrorist if you commit the willful wrecking of a train or the willful wrecking of a bus. If you commit the willful wrecking of any public transportation vehicle, if you commit the willful wrecking of a ferry, a vessel, or anything, even if you're a pirate and you destroyed a vessel at sea, and caused the sinking of a vessel, or you mashed the light of a buoy with intent to bring a ship into danger, resulting in a shipwreck, resulting in like literally the next Titanic. No, that's premeditated murder. That's terrorism. That is premeditated terroristic murder. And in that instance, you should be, I would say, that person should die. The victims died, so this person murdered innocent people. Instead of using a knife or a gun or poison, the weapon is the train. The weapon is the willful obstruction of a railway or the derailment of roadway. This would be like the equivalent of like masking a train light, causing a train to go into another direction, coming into contact with another train, and then the trains smashing into each other, killing or gravely injuring multiple people. It's the worst type of catastrophe you could imagine. It's terrorism. It's terrorism. If nobody dies, it's attempted murder. It's literally attempted murder. It's attempted premeditated murder. And then if anyone dies, it's just premeditated murder. It's not even second-degree murder because this is premeditated. This isn't like something you would just think about at the last minute. You're not just going to think, oh, I'm going to go to the railroad. I'm going to go to the railroad downtown, and I'm just going to do, and you walk down there, and you all of a sudden think, no, 9 times out of 10, it's because you were thinking about it, you planned it, it's premeditated, it's first-degree murder, it's aggravated murder, it's whatever you want to call it, it's murder, it's terrorism, it's one of the most, just not even egregious, it's beyond egregious, it's despicable. It's seriously the most despicable crime humanly possible. It's one of the most heinous offenses imaginable. It's literally on par with murder and terrorism. It's attempted murder. If nobody died, it's terrorism and attempted murder, or it could be anything along those lines. I don't know. I don't mean to be like slapping a bunch of words and terms together. I'm just saying that this is literally that. So yes, I think if you intentionally cause the fatal wrecking of a train, you should be executed. You are no good. You're scum. You're a terrorist. You're a murderer, and you should be put to death. You should be executed for the safety and security of everyone and for the victims who suffered in such a horrible way. And if nobody died, I would still execute them. If someone was gravely injured by the willful wrecking of a train, I would still have them executed. Or at the very minimum, I'd sentence them to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Bare minimum. You either have 2 options. If a train wreck resulted in grave injury or any kind of injury, either death or life in prison, no parole. And then even in the best case scenario where there was just wreckage, if there was just wreckage, like if there was just horrible property damage, but no one was injured and no one died, I'd still punish them with life in prison with no possibility of parole. Because that is still an act of terrorism, and I'm of the belief that if you commit an act of terrorism, including whether it's aircraft hijacking or piracy, anything like that, you should never see the light of day again. You are a problem. The death penalty is a good thing. And I know, much I know a lot of my leftist listeners, my socialist listeners, many would not agree with this, but I'm sorry, maybe I'm just different as a leftist. But no, I believe in the death penalty for the most egregious, heinous, horrible crimes. Murder, rape, terrorism, you name it. I would say, fuck that person. That person should die. That person should die. The only good terrorist is a dead terrorist. The only good murderer is a dead murderer. That's what I believe in. And I think that is just for the victims and for society. And by putting someone to death that is a murderer or a terrorist or a serial rapist or a serial pedophile, you're just simply eliminating a problem. They are a problem that you are eliminating. Because remember, they can no longer reoffend. They can never come back and do it again. So it's a just punishment for one of the most heinous and despicable crimes humanly possible. And that is why I created the Kingdom of the Pogo Islands. To talk about all of the laws and all of my laws and how everything would be if it was up to me. So if it was up to me, I would have the death penalty for the most egregious crimes. In the Kingdom of the Pogo Islands, that's what we have. That's what we have. We have the death penalty for the most heinous crimes. So, and one of those being the wrecking of a train. It's one of the worst crimes humanly possible. There's no other way to say it. It's just that. And if you're convicted, anyone dies, I'll put you to death. If anyone's injured, you're either going to have two possibilities: death or life in prison, no parole. And if no death and no bodily injury resulted, I'll just give you an automatic and only life sentence with no possibility of parole. You will never see parole. You will never see the outside of a prison ever again for as long as you live on this planet Earth. You will be paying with your life for such a life-altering crime. The victims and their families got life sentences. Therefore, you're going to get a life sentence. And that is justice. The Zachary way, or shall I say, the kingdom of the Pogo Islands way. Well, in this case, the Commonwealth of the Indigo Island way. Well, that's about it for now. Thank you, everybody who stopped by and listened to this. Hope you all enjoyed this segment. Hope you guys learned something. Yes, this is entirely a creation of mine. This isn't legal advice. I do know a lot of stuff about law and legal stuff and whatnot. This is why I do it. It's an interest of mine. The Pogo Islands is a hobby of mine, and that's why I do it on this channel. I do it elsewhere. I do it for creative writing purposes. And if anyone has any questions, leave a comment below. Hit that bell notification and subscribe, because YouTube is definitely taking away my subscribers. They're not notifying people, shadow banning my channel, because I'm also, well, I'm not doing this. I'm doing anti-war and anti-imperialist activism. So, hope you all enjoyed. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next one, including on Thursday with my next stream on at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Look out for it. Discord will be open, Zachary Xavier 7855, and I will catch you all in the next one. Stay tuned, stay safe, stay well, stay classy, and keep fighting, and keep on rocking. Be well, and until next time, peace out, good night, and so on.